well. Yes. All right, we are live now. Greetings to our listeners. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Welcome to the program, Your Health Matters, where we discuss health matters that matter to you. Tonight we have a very interesting and critical subject, and that is of colon cancer and your health. Tonight we are joined by very important people in this subject. Let me first start with the lady to ask her to introduce herself, because in this world they say ladies first. I don't know why, but let's keep the tradition. Madam.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Khomotol Mohapi. I'm a medical doctor by profession, but I work in a lifestyle and wellness center in Pietermaritzburg, Kwamkremani. So we combine Western medicine for diagnostic purposes, but we focus mainly on lifestyle changes as well as natural, simple remedies to help the body. We use medical procedures where necessary, especially to save lives. That's me in a nutshell.
Great. All right, our second guest here is, I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. Of course.
Right, greetings everyone. Happy Sabbath. My name is Victor Koza. Qualified in consumer science. We're majoring in food and nutrition. So I also work with Dr. Homoso at Kwamkremani Institute of Wellness, but my focus is on food and nutrition and how we can assist people who have various illnesses or diseases, basically of lifestyle diseases of lifestyle origin, with how can they reverse or how can they prevent those using the diet and natural remedies. So, but my focus is on food and nutrition. Thank you.
Wonderful. So if we want to eat right, so we must talk to you.
Yeah, I'm your man.
All right, thank you very much. Doc, let me start with you. Tonight we're talking colon cancer. What is colon cancer? Maybe let's start there. When we talk colon cancer, what is this animal we call colon cancer?
It's always good. So if we understand the human body, the colon is the sewage system of the body. You have your stomach. From your stomach, you have your small bowel. And then from your small bowel, you have your colon. You have a ascending colon, which is a colon that goes up. You have a colon that goes across your belly. And then you have a colon that goes down. And then you have a rectum. Then you have an anus. And that's how things leave your body. So the colon is really where waste material is excreted, but other things happen in the colon. So when you have colon cancer, what that simply means is the cells in that colon, in that sewage system, have lost their functionality. They don't obey laws anymore. They have become rebels, so to speak. That's how we define cancer. These cells that are just growing out of proportion. They're not following the rules of the body. They consume resources without necessarily contributing to how the body works. And that's cancer in a nutshell. So it's these abnormal cells in the colon, which is in the sewage system of the body. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, yes, no, it does. And so what is the prevalence of incidence of colon cancer in South Africa compared to the world?
Well, for these kind of numbers, I need to check here. In the world, it's the third most common females. People have about a 4% chance globally of having this. But here's the interesting part. it's linked to, I mean, we're coming to that, to a Western, because South Africa is becoming more globalized. Even we're first world country with third world problems, so to speak. So our prevalence, for example, in every 100 people, 7 people every year get cancer, 7 males, and 4 females in every 100 people. That works out to be about 4,000 people a year, the males getting cancer, and 4,000 people, looking at our population of 58 million. But those are new cases. In terms of the prevalence, it's the 3rd commonest cancer that is there in the world.
And then here in South Africa, is this a growing problem?
It is, absolutely, because our lifestyle is mirroring the lifestyles of the Western diet, the first world. We are consuming a very American diet, and therefore we are getting the disease of those countries.
Now, when we talk colon cancer, what's the contribution in as far as the diet is concerned, or the way we eat, and what has been the observation?
Thank you. I think to add on what you talk is saying, especially when you speak about that this is a Western kind of thing that was because of the way they eat. And I'm adopting that because we are changing the way we eat. Now, when you look at research, it is prevalent to people who consume a lot of animal products, which is meat, consume a lot of cheese, consume a lot of milk, but then also when you look at people who have subscribed to the let me say African traditional way of eating, well, I would like to put it like that, but vegetables mostly. Vegetables have got a lot of ingredients inside them, or components that prevent your body, or that also when you have cancer, actually it inhibits the damage that the cancer will have in your body. So diet is very much important when it comes to preventing or reversing type of cancers that we are going to be talking about today. So just under the question, diet plays a very, very important role, because even if we try to actually help your body to actually heal of the cancer, we then change your lifestyle. We say, okay, this is what you must eat, this is what you must avoid. So I think as we go on, we're going to be then seeing that you must avoid, these that can cause the cancer. But then diet plays a center stage when it comes to colon cancer.
The way you have started, you have shaken our taste buds. Now you talk about cheese. Yeah, you are wrapping us the wrong way now. But we want to talk more about what you guys have just said now. But let's talk about the causes of colon cancer generally, Doc.
Well, this is how I like to approach disease. You don't just wake up one day and you have cancer. You've got a body that will work well as long as it has what it needs. There are 7 stages of disease, and cancer is stage 7. So before you get to cancer, you would have gone through all the different other stages. Stage 1 being fatigue, stage 2 being toxemia, irritation, then toxemia, then inflammation is stage 4. So when we're looking at digestive colon issues, so stage 4 would be people who have Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. These are inflammation in the colon because the colon is undergoing changes. Then stage 5 would be ulceration, stage 6 would be induration, then you get to stage 7. Literally what happens is that the cell is being either bombarded with a lot of toxins, or it probably does not have the nutrients to heal itself and to repair itself. And when this goes on and on and on because of diet, you can imagine, just think about it, you at home. You've got this colon, and what's coming in sits in there and it doesn't come out. So your toxic material that's supposed to end up in the toilet ends up just sitting in your colon. and there are cells that are in touch with this toxic material, it's going to change that. If you take your hand and you put a substance of toxic material, what's going to happen to your skin? Your skin cells are going to be affected. So that's what happens with colon cancer. So what we put in terms of diet, as Victor has already said, affects it. So anything that leads to constipation, anything that is high in toxins, and also if you don't have food to help your cells recover. But also lack of physical activity, because actually when you exercise, you help things to move along and waste material to move along. So, but the greatest cause actually that has been said of colon cancer is actually animal products, meat, because meat is low in fiber. So it moves slowly through the colon, and it has a lot of toxins as well. That would be, so meat leading to constipation, which can ultimately lead to colon cancer. But let's not just say meat. The generally refined foods, eating white bread will lead to, you know, constipation. So waste material stays in the body for a really long time. Colon cancer. And obviously genetics are important. If you come from a family line where people have colon cancer, it means you have that genetic predisposition. Now, we shouldn't blame genes. The environment, externally and internal family with genetic tendencies towards colon cancer. If you go on a diet, a certain diet, like a plant-based diet, as we're going to talk about later on, you can actually switch off that cancer gene. This is what is so empowering, that you don't need to be a victim to your genetics. I know I've gone very broad, but that's what causes colon cancer. It's lifestyle. It really is a lifestyle disease.
All right, Koza, let me come to you.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, just to add on what the doc is saying, you know, when God gave us a diet, it is so that He can nourish the body. But then the basic unit of that is the cells. So at the cellular level, it is where things happen. So if what you eat does not benefit or does not give life to the cells, then it's going to contribute to wastage, which is what the body then must begin to fight against. And if you find you're eating a lot of sugar again, your immune system is not good enough, it's strong enough to fight against these developing cancer cells. As Doc is saying, you're eating a lot of animal product, you're eating a lot of whatever he said. But then if you consume a lot of foods that then disempower the immune system to fight against the developing cancer cells, then you're going to be having a problem. So if you can just move and then remember what God had created, and then that is where we are going to then begin to have a solution. At a cellular level, if you can fix a problem, as Doc is saying, you can say it's a gene problem. But then what you eat, the cells can develop, because they've got a time frame. They survive, and then sometimes they die. And then develop that to replace the ones that have died. So that every time your body is ilungisa, but in a process, you need to make sure that you put what to call enough and adequate nutrients so that these cells destroy. So what you eat, therefore, becomes the center of what you're talking about.
That's interesting. I mean, we thought that when we say grace will take care of what's problematic there. Now tell me, you were mentioning the 6 stages, and that cancer is your 7th stage. You mentioned a number of things. One of those is fatigue. That got my attention. Can we talk about that? Because I know quite a number of people complain about this problem. Fatigue, and sometimes we think it's something that's going to come and go without affect my overall health.
I'm sorry, I missed a bit of what you said. Fatigue.
Yes.
Oh, all right. I said that's the first stage of disease.
Yes.
this is fatigue that is not relieved by more sleep. It doesn't matter how much you sleep. All that means is that your body has a toxic load in it. And therefore, remember, your body, for you to have energy, your body must make energy. Inside of yourself is like an ESCOM without load shedding, right? A proper working ESCOM, where when you put in sugar combined with oxygen, you're able to generate energy. But if now your cell is full of toxins, it's not able to generate energy, it becomes sluggish. So you're feeling tired and sleepy all the time. Going to the toilet is a sluggish process. Your mind is sluggish. All it means is your cells are not able to generate energy. So that is the stimuli. There are things that are getting in the way. We're not getting the nutrients that we need, and we're not able to get rid of waste material. You sleeping is not beneficial. What you need to do at that point is help your body to detox, to get rid of the toxins that are in it. And then you will feel your energy levels. So how do you do that? We stop putting in food or material that is toxic. And then we start putting in things to help get rid of the toxins.
Okay.
In our body, own body that does the detoxing. Your liver together with the colon, together with the kidneys and the liver, the colon, the kidneys, and the lungs. But if these are not working well, the toxins will remain in your body and you'll get more and more tired. If that is not rectified, you move to the next level where it's toxemia. And that word in itself explains itself. It means your toxic load has gotten up. You're more and more and more tired. You start taking energy drinks to try and pick up yourself. But what you're not realizing is you're adding more burden onto your liver with all of that sugar, with the caffeine, more toxins. Then you move to level 3 with irritation. Your body is saying, okay, it's starting to get irritated by the toxins. Like if you put your hand in acid, you're going to start feeling irritation. So you start to get a rash, you get skin breakouts because your body is trying to get rid of these toxins. It's setting off alarms. And we're still not understanding what is happening. So we see the rash, what do? We take medication like allergics and all of these things, adding more toxins to the body. Right? Because we're not understanding, we're perishing for lack of knowledge. Then you get to level 4, which is inflammation. Your body says, okay, I need to burn up these toxins. So your body responds, your immune system comes in and tries to deal with this thing, but then more problem is created. That's when you end up in stage 5, ulceration or induration. Ulceration, like people who have ulcerative colitis, the lining of the gut can actually be worn away, or you can develop a lump, which is non-cancerous. If that is not sorted, then you end up in level 7. So if you're at level 1, good, you can still do something about it, not taking more.
Yeah.
Energy drinks though.
Now, if then, because someone obviously needs to do some detoxing, where can one begin?
All right, thank you. I think it's clear that because they say 80% of the cancers is caused by what we eat, and then the other 20% can be anything, your environment or your heritage or something. But then now, because we have eaten something that is not good, that is affecting your body, obviously, and then you've developed the cancer. So we are saying it's good to say you start with a juice fast, stop eating foods, as Dr. said, try to eliminate the food that are not okay. Now, that include, therefore, foods that are high in fiber, vegetables that are high in antioxidants, which are going to then begin to fight against the center in the body. But then again, as you detox, you try to make sure that you subscribe to the 8 laws of health. You get to the sun, you drink more water. In fact, you change your lifestyle. But as you detox, you must understand, which you can't say, I'm detoxing, I'm trying to solve the problem, while you are busy eating good foods that are not okay. You begin to substitute. If you are eating more sugar, then you must cut down or just the sugar. Substitute. There's honey, there's sweet molasses, and all those things. But the first step was to do a fasting, add green juices. For example, your your broccoli, your spinach, your cucumber, your ginger, juice that, drink it 4 times a day. The first day, the second day, you can add soft food, but then that will help your system, because if there's a problem in the system, you must stop digestion for that time, focus on the issue, then introduce ukudla kancane kancane. After the juices, you can do your smoothies, and after that, you take your walks. Make sure that you're physically active, but most importantly, as you do that, detox include the juices. Don't be tempted to do those things as when utubela corn. And then from there, you can then do all the treatments, include your herbs, your teas, which are very important when it comes to that. But you begin with eliminating wrong foods, introducing good foods, and then begin your process of digesting, eliminating that which is not good in your body.
All right. Now, someone is asking a question from Facebook. This is Nomana Magazi. She says, what are the symptoms of colon cancer? Doc?
Yeah. For some people, there may be no symptoms. We've had patients who they just generally didn't feel well, and they went for their colonoscopy, and that's when it was discovered. But generally, you could have change in bowel movements. You could have diarrhea, or you could have constipation. Because the cancer is an obstruction in a cylindrical system, you may find that the stool that comes out is very thin if the colon is going all the way around. It may be painful when you go to the toilet. Your stools could be dark, including being black, depending on how high up in the colon, because like I said, the colon is quite long. It starts on your right side, goes up, turns just below just under the breast there, and goes across, and then it goes down. So depending on where the cancer is, and there could be actually active bleeding as well. Generally with cancer, there could be weight loss, there could be change in appetite, as I mentioned, there could be pain. So how it would be diagnosed is normally at a colonoscopy. So the doctor would pass in a camera through the anus, and they would see that there's an obstruction because the camera can't go any further. Then they would take a biopsy. So they would take a little pinch of what they see there, and they would send that to the lab, and they would look at the cells, and they would realize that these cells are abnormal, and that's how you would be diagnosed. So you may or may not have symptoms that I mentioned, and then it needs to be confirmed with a biopsy.
Okay. Now judging from what you are saying, because how could one tell now that you are constipated?
Obviously, because if you eat food, it must go out at some point. If it doesn't, well, they say if you eat 2 times a day, you must go to the toilet not less than 1. If you eat 3 times, you must go not less than 2. But then if you go to the toilet and when you push, when you're sitting there, your number 2 is very hard. And if it comes out, you must apply force. That means you're constipated, because it must leave the body under minimal pressure. They say if it was in the water, it must flow. It must be like mud. So that's how you can tell. But they say I haven't gone to the toilet for a week or 3 days or 4 days. That means you're constipated. But if you're eating, that means you're constipated. But if you go to the toilet and you see it's okay, your number 2 is very hard, and that also affects your colon, because it's inflamed, because it's hard. So those are the kind of things. Okay, now I'm constipated. I need to check what I eat, and I need to check that, because it may lead to your cancer of the colon.
Good. So I just want to go back to reiterate what we are saying. That number 1, as long as we eat, firstly we must have the bowels moving every day.
Yeah.
So if it's 2 meals per day, at least once, worst case scenario. If it's 3 meals, at least twice, because anything less than that, it's a sign that there is a problem there with constipation. Now, Doc, what is a normal stool?
A normal stool, you look at the, we'll start with the thickness.
Yeah.
It needs to be about, can you see my hand? It needs to be about so thick. Then it may be that there's a blockage around the colon, right?
Okay.
So that's in terms of thickness. In terms of consistency, have you seen in the cartoons, they actually get it right. It needs to just flow out and make that nice little spiral. It shouldn't be watery, and it shouldn't be hard like goat little pellets. So that's in terms of consistency. So the size, the consistency, and then the color. It should be tan brown. It shouldn't be green. Unless you ate a lot of spinach, but even then, or a lot of beetroot, then it'll be red. You know, it shouldn't be extreme colors. You actually, even if you're eating spinach, a lot of those phytochemicals you're supposed to be able to absorb into your body. So then already that's telling us that there's an issue there. It shouldn't be yellow. That generally indicates a problem with your liver. And in terms of the smell,
yes,
it shouldn't be so foul smelling that you're feeling like, ooh, you want to hide and you're embarrassed like that. Because that speaks to the bacteria that is breaking it down, because we've got good bacteria and we've got bad bacteria. And it may also speak to how long it has been in there. So if you can remember those 4 elements, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything, Victor, you'll add on. So it's the size, it's the consistency, watery or hard like pellets. It's the color, and it's the smell in terms of going to the toilet.
All right, good.
Yes, that's true. I want to confess here, because I think doc is leading us to a certain point to say you must look at your stools after you do your thing, because that's how you see, you check. You don't know which is a book or hotel. I'm one of those people who get into a toilet, go to reverse, and then after I'm done, forward. I don't want to look. I won't eat all those things. So you must check. So now, if you see blood and that would give you a sign also. As the doc has mentioned, the color, the texture, all those things, that means you must have an idea, you must check. Because if you just eat track, it feels too low, and then it goes, then you would not know. So that's a challenge to every one of us. So let's check ourselves now with these simple things that we valid. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. If you just join us, we're discussing tonight the subject of colon cancer and your health. And I want to also emphasize the fact that to our listeners and our viewers here tonight, that when you go to the toilet, take a look at your damage, at your work that you have just done, and for your health, to see how good your system is, and if it needs some attention, you are the one who can tell the story. Because at some point, somebody else is going to have to force you to do it at the hospital, to want you to look at your stool. So this is very good, Doc. I appreciate that. Now somebody is asking also on Facebook that how long must the juicing be done for someone, for example, who is in stage 2 of cancer? Now, I really would have loved us, time is an enemy, because probably we can do a part 2 of this subject, so that we can begin to look at some specifics, whether you have, for those that don't have but who want to rejuvenate, and for those that already have, and see how they can be helped going forward. But briefly though, Doc, someone is in stage 2 is asking, so this juicing we're talking about earlier on, how long should this be done? And I guess maybe on a daily basis, and for how long?
Sure. It's not as simple as that. I have to say that from the outset. Because it depends on your nutritional status. It depends on a lot of other factors, what your body needs. Remember, the whole point with juicing is to introduce the phytochemicals, which are going to help your body heal. And when you're juicing, when you have colon cancer, is to reduce the packaging, the waste that needs to come out, so that area is not constantly being irritated by waste material. Juicing is not a way of living. Juicing is therapy. So I would say you continue until you get to a point where you're relatively healthy, that you can go back onto a diet where you're eating proper solid food, you're chewing your food, and you're able to continue then going to the toilet, because there are functionalities in the colon that are important. And also, when talking about staging, in simplicity, not directly related to colon cancer, stage 1 of any cancer is that it's just localized to that organ. So here it's just in the colon, it's not touching anything else. Stage 2, that's when it starts to affect other organs around it. Stage 3, it's when it's affecting more structures that are not directly related to it. In stage 4, it's when it has metastasized, when it has moved through the blood system to other places. What I always recommend with colon cancer, I know we haven't gotten there yet, but what I always recommend for people with colon cancer is, if it's a small bit, because you've got a very long colon, if it's a small portion of the colon and you can have it removed safely, so go for the surgical operation and have them heal it, and then go on juicing to allow the healthy colons to heal together, and then completely change your lifestyle. Because even though you have removed the cancer cells, remember your cancer gene now has been switched on. So just because the doctors don't see any cancer cells anymore does not mean your cancer, but it's showing itself off in the colon. So then you change your lifestyle until you can switch off your cancer gene, and you won't know when it's switched off. So my recommendation, go on a plant-based diet and stay on it, and it will keep your cancer gene switched off. So how long do you juice for? For as long as it takes for that cancer to go away. And then you start adding food as well, so that you can regain normal functionality of the colon.
Okay, good. Now, my next question then would be, how do we then manage cancer? So someone has been diagnosed, and so how do you manage this cancer now going forward?
The principles, okay, no two people are the same, okay? Yes. So your case must be individualized, but the general principles are these, especially when it comes to colon cancer. While it's still early and it's still localized, I normally recommend surgical procedure to remove that, because to try and get the body to fight the cancer itself is a long, tedious process. People do not have the energy, the stamina, and the mental ability to deal with. It's not an easy fight. So if it moves surgically, do so. Then going forward, in mainstream medicine, you will be offered chemotherapy, perhaps radiotherapy. We here offer alternatives. So once our patients have been and they have had the surgical removal of the colon cancer, then they come here and they understand that cancer is a systemic disease, meaning their cancer gene has been switched on. Now, when they go on the lifestyle, even though we don't see a cancer, we are repairing their entire body. So the principles are to follow the lifestyle habits, the 8 laws of health. What we often also do is do blood tests. There is a test that sometimes can tell us what's happening. It's called CEA, and we're able to monitor it. It will normally be high when you begin, and as your body starts to heal, it should come back to within normal. And yes, those are the simple principles: surgery, lifestyle changes, supplements if necessary, herbal remedies to help your body heal, and of course trusting in God, in all things, and living your life. Don't let your life revolve around cancer and say, when I'm healed of the cancer, then I will do 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue planning and living, obviously watching what sort of energy levels you have. Those are the general principles, but I'm telling you, prevention is better than cure.
Wow. All right. So now here is someone who says, well, look, I have had such valuable information, and I've been in this Western diet. I could be in danger. Where do I start? Rosa?
Well, okay. Well, I think the simple answer to that is to begin, as the doctor said, change your lifestyle, because now that led you to a problem as it colon cancer. Now, what I'm going to share with you, Uguti, now if now we are changing, we're substituting now what you were always having, your diet, your junk food, and everything that will cause you to be colon cancer, and what then you should include, because many people will then stop eating meat, stop drinking milk, and then they don't substitute that, so they have a problem with manji. They've got deficiencies in their body, and then they resort to say, I'm going back to what I was eating because I don't know what I'm eating. So well, obviously we say, so if you've been eating a Western diet, so you must cut down on total fat, especially trans fat, food that has been processed, your burger, your deep fried chips, all those foods that have got trans fat, all those I mentioned the cheese because cheese, the body cannot digest, they cannot process that, so it's waste. So it just causes, it's a number one cause of breast cancer, but it's so those are the kind of things that obviously in changing your diet you must not understand, which you must include your carotene rich foods, which is your carrots, your yam, your vegetables, your tomatoes, your green leafy vegetables. All those foods are good also. Now, and also include your antioxidant rich foods, which is your garlic, your onions, your broccoli, especially the onions. Some people cannot eat onions raw, so if you can do your green salad or your friend salad, you put your onion raw, that it's very powerful in addressing that issue. Your broccoli, your wheat germ, and your also obviously your green leafy vegetables, because those are going to be assisting you if you don't take a shield. Though this approach, it's good when you're preventing. Then diagnose corner. Though we say okay, but if you change now, diagnose so they contain what you call the glucaric acid, which reduces various cancers in the body. And also the issue of sugar, the sweetness, we say go for the natural. I spoke about honey. You can also include your stevia to sweeten your teas and all those things. And then your sweet molasses, if you are going to be doing your porridge in the morning, adopt your high fiber foods, your whole grain legumes, and your brown breads, your brown rices, or all your yellow maize, all those kinds of food that are not processed are going to be very good for you. So we are not eliminating, but we are substituting so that you can continue living. Because what we need is that your body gets enough nutrients that are going to assist the body in fighting against any type of cancer. And also, you must have a daily intake of your cruciferous vegetables, your cabbage. Cabbage, many people don't want the cabbage because every time, even it's January, we think also so the cabbage don't need. So they are very good when it comes to when you want to change your life. So of course, in the process, your broccoli, your Brussels sprouts, your cauliflower, you can use these as a vegetable and you like to boil them, or you can juice them. So juice, which is very important. So you can use this, understand, okay, or vitamin C, vitamin A, or carrot lava, or can use your fruit juice, but the vegetables and fruits are good to kickstart your body after you've been eating a Western diet and correct. So these ingredients are good to build the resistance to certain cancers, especially colon cancer.
Doc, yeah, this is interesting. You know, maybe before you come in, I just wanted to, you were talking about cabbage. You know, when we were growing up at home, we hated cabbage. like it was a calling to hate cabbage. So my mother would steam it and then get the water out of the cabbage and have us to drink it. So we didn't want it. So she would say, all right, here is the water from the cabbage. If you want it, if you drink it, then you will have dessert. If you don't want it, it's okay, no problem, but there's no dessert. so that's how we had to drink the water. So we didn't know, but we know now that it was good for our health. It was good for our health. Doc? Now,
yes. One of the things I thought was important, what we generally also do at the center, as well as encouraging those lifestyle changes, is we help people to detox, either in-house or at home. What's coming up now that the weather is changing to become hot, you need to clean your colon, all right?
Yeah.
Now, another thing that probably your mother or your grandmother used to do as well, Pastor Mapumulo, was ukata, to an enema.
Yeah.
Because they understood that the colon is a rich system. Waste is not supposed to remain in there. Yes. So now we call it colonic hydrotherapy, and people run from it. It's what we knew to do. That way you get the waste out, because there's some waste that is stuck to the inside of the walls, and that's what's causing the greatest damage. If for those people who don't do it in-house, we also have a colon cleanser, which, you know, people have used it and they'd be like, I went to the toilet and what came out was like cow dung. That's how much waste comes out, and they're thinking, how was I carrying all of this in me? And to add on to the cabbage, one of the most powerful things, we also put it in a detox pack, is actually fermented cabbage, which is in Germany is called sauerkraut, because the process of fermentation increases good bacteria in it. You're supposed to have bacteria in your colon, which is supposed to protect you. You know, and it's another lesson for another day. But so the detox pack that we have has the colon cleanser, something to help your liver as well, and then the sauerkraut, the fermented cabbage, to help with fiber, as well as to put the good nutrients into your body while you do all those critical lifestyle changes that Victor was talking about. Not forgetting to drink water, because often we're constipated because we don't drink enough water.
Yeah. I didn't even know there's something like fermented cabbage. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
Now someone is asking here on Facebook, what is the good substitute for milk? Of course, when he's talking about milk, he's talking about cow's milk. And and we forget that part, that I was just telling a friend of mine, says, no, don't call this thing milk, it's cow's milk. So that at least you could be revived to remember it's not meant for you, it's meant for the cows. So the question is, what would be a good substitute for cow's milk?
Okay,
yeah.
Go on, Vic.
Yeah, there's a lot of brands outside there. Your plant-based milk are also good for you. You've got your soya milk and your milk that are made of nuts. They are very good sources. They've got all these ingredients we're talking about. But then any milk that is plant-based is good for you, because now what we are running away from, if you're drinking milk, there's a lot of wastage that you put in your body that your body needs to deal with. So in cases of also the colon, I almost said colon cleanse, the colon cancer, soya milk is also good. But then, of course, in temperance, whenever you drink those things, you must make sure that you're drinking them in temperance, in moderate, so that you cannot actually damage your body more sense. So the dog can continue on that. But then the plant-based ones, they're also, I think those are milk. This one is cow's milk, but these ones are milk. And it comes to substituting from cow's milk. Yeah.
Doug?
I was going to say, it depends what you want to do with your milk. If you generally have cereals, then absolutely. But if you're looking for calcium, actually broccoli is a good source of calcium.
Yes.
So we have the wrong concept that we're drinking milk to get strong bones, but they don't actually drink milk itself. So if it's the nutrients you're looking for, you can find that in almond nuts, which is used to make almond milk. You can have it in broccoli. There's macadamia milk, which is very nice. You can make your own milk, actually. It's very easy with all these nuts, if you have them. You just put the nuts together with some water, you blend them up, you sieve them to separate the pulp, and that's it, you've got milk. And then you can sweeten it with your honey if you want it sweet, and voila. that is how you make your alternative. Coconut milk is very nice as well, very tasty. For those people who like, because they are not thick and creamy enough, so you want to use coconut cream and combine it with coconut milk. It makes a very delicious, almost like ultra milk kind of custard. So you see, when we're talking healthy living, I'm talking about custard, and people are thinking, I can have custard, you can have ice cream, but your ice cream will be made from your coconut cream.
Yeah, correct.
Blended with some other, there are recipes that are plant-based, they're nutritious, healthy.
We're still there.
I think the network.
Networking is slow.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So also just to add on the doc, when you eat your cereal in the morning, your rolled oats, you can put your seeds there. Sesame seeds is also very good in terms of calcium. If you want calcium, as a doc, in addition to what she's saying. So in fact, I would think to subscribe to your animal. There's a lot of vegetables or plant-based ingredients that can supply you with these things, because they will tell you to make your bones strong, but if on the contrary it doesn't. But this plant-based, it makes you strong, but this can make your bones to be thicker. Exceed the be strong as it would if you were using the plant-based ingredients.
That's good. That's good. That's good. This is very good. Let's talk about the herbs in treating or in managing colon cancer. What are some of the herbs and that people can use, and how? Whether you don't have colon cancer, 2, you have it. What would you advise?
Well, it's good that we started with the issue of diet, because before you even go to the things, Sigma herbs, your diet is intact. But then there's some of the herbs that I will mention here that you must use. But then the most important part about herbs, the herbs, they work in combination, but they say synergistically. There must be other herbs that are supporting it. For example, you using the cat's claw, it's good. It's an immunostimulant. It promotes the immune system to fight against whatever the white cells. To the cleanup process. If they recognize that they are cancer cells, they go and attack, and then they clean up the phagocytosis. Then the cat's claw promotes that process, which if you had cancers, the body may be able to fight. But then for them to work very well, you need to have curcumin, which is turmeric. You find curcumin and turmeric, and also echinacea, which is good in combination. But then now also, if you have boiled that herb, let's say cat's claw, and you've put turmeric, and you've put echinacea, you also put a bit of cayenne pepper for circulation. So you need your blood to circulate into that area to carry out this herb that you have. So you must understand that, okay, if I have this herb, especially, let me just make an example. This COVID-19, they said this wormwood herb is good. But then after research, if you use it alone, it can damage your kidneys. So we say, okay, so if you use it, you must make sure to put other herbs that are going to prevent the damage. You put your vitamin C's, you put other kind of ingredients within, or your ginger, which carries it into the cell. So that's how. So turmeric is also good if you're going to mix it, even if you're going to use it alone. So curcumin is also good. It's anti-inflammatory. It fights against. It's antimicrobial. All these types of bacteria that are not good. It also helps in terms of fighting against it. So it shrinks the cancer cells and the tumors also within your body. So it inhibits the blood supply to that cell so that it cannot grow, especially if you're a person who has gas. So echinacea is also good. So the combination of these herbs is good in terms of fighting against yourself. And then there's lemongrass. Lemongrass is number 1. It's very good and powerful in terms of any type of cancer. So as you're going to be changing your diet, in the morning before you eat, you drink your tea. It's either lemongrass or cat's claw or echinacea tea. Of course, sweeten it with what you call the honey or stevia, it depends. And then those kinds of herb are going to be able to assist you. Remembering if there's one herb, let's put cayenne pepper for circulation, put ginger as a carrier, but put other, especially vitamin C, or you can vitamin C powder, you can buy it somewhere. It's going to include it in that recipe. It's going to assist in making sure that as it enters your blood or your body, it does not damage, because they are so potent. Sometimes your kidneys are not functioning kahle. So for maintain the just before meals, it's good because if you drink it before meals, it's good. It's easily absorbed in the body than after meals. So you drink it in the morning before your breakfast. If you put a before your lunch or before your supper, cut food maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes before your meals. So these are the kind of the herbs that if you are trying to fight against cancer, or if you're trying to prevent cancer, or you're trying to stimulate your body with variety, just use them. They are very good in terms of fighting against these cancers.
Doc?
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Vic. Just like when I was working in the hospitals, we don't work just the two of us. We work with somebody called Jason Williams. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to herbs. So what I generally do when we have patients is I would say, okay, this is the person we have. Firstly, we check, as Victor was saying, we check their liver function and their kidney function. If these two organs are not working, we will not put you on herbs. Remember, herbs are medicine. All right. Yeah. And they need for your aima. Don't go and be taking herbs when your kidneys and your liver is not working. You are going to cause further damage. So if you have cancer, you need to work with somebody who's knowledgeable. The second thing is that God created us perfectly and wonderfully. The human body has 8 anti-cancer mechanisms. For us to end up with cancer, it means there were 8 systems that failed ultimately. So even in treating cancer, the herbs don't go in and get rid of this thing. There are other herbs that I would not even talk about them here. You would have to come in so we can put them on you. But what the herbs do is they support your immune system in doing what it was designed to do. Because cancer literally is failure of those 8 mechanisms, including failure of the immune system to see the cancer cells and destroy them, these abnormal cells. So things like echinacea, as you have heard from Victor, these are actually immune boosting herbs. But then you must understand that there's a reason your immune system was not able to deal with it at all. So my recommendation is, if you do have cancer, please do speak to somebody who's knowledgeable in the treatment and in the use of herbs, but also check with your doctor how well your liver and your kidneys are working, so that we don't end up giving herbs a bad name. They are medicine. They need to be used properly.
Great. Now here is another one. We have a question from on Facebook, from Pastor Nembudani. He wants to know, because there's a growing trend now of young people who are using cannabis because it's a herb, it's legalized, and so on. So talk to me about this issue of cannabis, because they say it helps to reduce cancer cells. So that's the justification that people do. So let us know, Doc, so that we can see if tomorrow we can go get this cannabis too.
All right. Well, cannabis, like a lot of herbs, have different compounds in them. The compounds are the active substances, right? So there are substances in cannabis that affect the cells, but when people take it, they will feel that their appetite improves, pain goes away, but what it does is it also has effects on the mind. It also has a psychoactive ingredient, which is THC. Now, for me, that is the issue I tend to have with cannabis. I generally do not prefer anything that affects your mind. As a Christian doctor, I understand that it is with the mind that we serve the Lord. So it is very important for me that even as I'm treating you, look, we're all going to die.
Yes.
But what I want to do is to make sure that even if my patient is on a bed about to die, they should be able to choose the Lord as their personal savior. Now, if I give them something that knocks out their mind, I am not very comfortable and confident with that. Does it have properties to help? Yes, I have seen it help people improve their appetite. I still have this stumbling block with the psychoactive component, and I know a lot of people are using it for that. The people who are, I know a lot of people are using it for that. Those who are genuinely sick, by the purest form of it, the CBD oil without any psychoactive components to it. And there are many, many, many other herbs that can help us. So if you're using it for the psychoactive, be genuine about it. Don't say, oh, cannabis. Be honest with yourself. Let's not hide behind its healing properties when actually we just want to get high. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Just trying to get the doctor legitimized being high. Look, Doc, it's clear. Vicky, you wanted to say something?
No, I wanted to add to
okay.
Yeah, because it, as you said, it's a growing trend. So you can't follow trends. You must make sure that you consult with people who are knowledgeable with regard to these things. The people who study herbs, they call them herbologists. So those are going to then direct you, because now the herb is discovered, people are excited about it, but then, as you said, no two people are the same. When I'm so consult with the person who is knowledgeable with regard to this. Not to this is just this, which is teen, but city consult so that when you make your decision, you can be an informed one.
Great. Look, the enemy is the time in this whole thing. But this is what I would like us to do, because I see there are a lot of questions that are coming through. That you probably let's do a part 2 next week, and do the following. Let's talk about how to change the diet systematically. All right. Let's talk about detoxing next week. Let's talk about the different kinds of juicing for different people, let's talk about an ideal plate for breakfast, for lunch, for supper, for someone who is on a 3 meals diet. Hopefully there is no one who is on a 4 meals diet per day. Then lastly, maybe let's talk also about the use of herbs, and bring Williams next week to be part of this discussion. Let's talk about, because this is one area that sometimes people will just go and run and buy one herb, and without realizing that you need some complementary herbs. And there is also a diet issue that can work against what you are trying to achieve. So if we can bring him also here, let's talk on these areas. And I think we would then be able to give people practical ways from zero to wherever on this new highway of health. Is that okay?
That sounds like a very good plan. I like it.
Great. So let me say, therefore, to our viewers, to our listeners tonight, that please bring one, bring all. Next week, 7 o'clock, we're going to be going through these subjects. We'll give you a wings to fly, not the other wings that they talk about, that give you energy, that then crushes you later. So we'll give you something that will help you, teach you how to walk, and until you are able to stand on your 2 feet. So let's do that next week. Give me a closing thought for both of you. Doc, let me start with you.
One, I always say to people, don't be afraid, and don't be a victim. If you're still alive, there's still hope. Today is the day. If you hear this message, make the change. Start tomorrow. Just start drinking water. Do away with the white bread, you know. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Just if you just do those simple things, it will have a profound effect on your body. That's what grace is. Grace is the little that you do, God will bless as you start moving in the right direction. So drink your water. Nobody should be eating white bread. Really, if we leave it on the shelves, they will stop making it. Don't touch it. And then add your vegetables. We'll talk about, it's fine as you eat your little meat. We'll talk about that next time. But do away with the white bread, especially. Drink your water and get some physical activity, and try not to stress too much. Do the best that you can, and your body will respond.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks a million, Doc. Vic, your closing thought. Did we lose him? Your closing thought, Bob.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh yes. Am I audible?
Now you are. You were muted.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm saying God has given us a very powerful system that you should take care of. He didn't make a mistake when He created us. He made sure I'm putting the immune system and all the powerful organs in your body to assist you to fight against anything incorrect. So it is on your decision. As you wake up in the morning, make a resolution. I'm doing this because you have a task to work for the Lord as you live. And also, for you to fulfill that, you must make sure that your decision regarding your body and what you put in must be in line with that. But at the end of the day, God will ask you, but what did you do with the information we were giving you? So don't be afraid. The world will tell you otherwise. There's power in your immune system. There's power in the foods we've mentioned. God created this for you so that you can utilize. And as you do that, you're going to get the benefit.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, there are people who would love to call Mkeman and talk further. So I want us to give them the contact number so that they can call for further discussion, but not tomorrow. They must not call tomorrow. Good people, don't call tomorrow. Call Monday during the week. All right, give me that number there.
All right. The easiest is to also go into our website, www.kwamkemani-instituteofwellness.com, because there are easy forms that you can fill in. Otherwise, for telephonic calls, call 082 480 2240. That's for telephonic calls. Sometimes our line gets really busy. So, but for WhatsApp only on this number, it's 082 610 7235. Please, just be patient. When you send a WhatsApp, you will get a response, but in due time, because as you can imagine, we get bombarded. We take every case personally. We attend to it personally. So just give us a moment. So 082-480-2240 for telephonic calls, but for WhatsApp, 082-610-7235. And the website, Kwamkemani Institute.
Let's do the telephonic call, 082?
480.
480.
2240.
2240.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. We appreciated this discussion. So we will meet again next week, same time, same place. And please don't miss. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much, Vic. May the Lord bless you. We will talk and meet next Sabbath. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.